Today in the crypto space, we're seeing a nice green bounce to the upside. Bitcoin approximately 4% to the upside, and Ethereum also up approximately 4%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, doing very, very well. Nice bounce to the upside. Solana, AVAX, Aptos, Injective, just to name of the few, deep in the green. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that has been doing very well, and it definitely is retracing. So you know what? That project is called Neoxa. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord's where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's look at this market. We can see that the market in general got a nice little bounce to the upside, looking pretty good. Bitcoin is up 4%. And we see a lot of these altcoins getting a nice bounce to the upside as well. But the question is, are the altcoins bouncing harder than Bitcoin? And of course, if that were to be the case, we're going to see the Bitcoin dominance come down, and we're going to see altcoins take over and definitely show dominance over Bitcoin. Of course, we'll talk about the Bitcoin dominance tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Feel free to join. That is a great time and place for you to make those requests on any of the projects that you're interested in, and I'll definitely put them in top priority. But for now, let's continue looking down into this top 100 to see if we can see any good trends, any good opportunities. But we can definitely see a lot of the market getting that bounce. AVAX up 8%. We have Chainlink up 4 or 5%. That's pretty good. And a few others, you know, getting that nice bullish bounce to the upside, pretty much to where we were yesterday. Near Protocol is not taking it, up another 8%, looking pretty good, still within range. Aptos making a slightly higher high. Injective right to previous highs. So you can see like the market is doing okay. Even Filecoin got a nice little relief to the upside. I don't think that ultimately, I think that this could be in a bigger distribution phase, especially with regards to Bitcoin and where it's at. And ultimately, to see altcoins do well while Bitcoin is in the distribution phase is absolutely healthy for an altcoin season. So Arbitrum is doing well. Caspa getting a nice little bounce to the upside. However, still in a downward sloping scenario, lower lows and lower highs. So that's something to be considered about. We have VeChain coming down, but getting a bit of support there. That's not too bad. Tia is the man of the match today. Of course, Celestia is doing really good. 30% run today, just today, 30%, which is very, very good. Given the fact that it, got a bit of a pullback, and the market participation was really strong, really, really bullish, and we can see a nice bounce. That's really good. SEI doing pretty good. Ultimately, still within the grind to the upside. Yes, it's down 3% today, but look at the big picture. This thing has been grinding to the upside forever. So you know what? Ultimately, we're still good. Don't be too afraid here. The only thing that you could be doing on SEI is getting defensive. What I mean by that is trailing up a stop loss, and at least coming up with a plan on how you can protect your gains just in case we get a market-wide, distribution phase. Maybe a market-wide dip where we see a lot of good fire sales. Overall, the market yesterday did bring a bit of fear. However, guys, I still feel like we're still okay. We want to see how the market reacts, the bullish response. If the bullish response doesn't bring us to a higher high or at least a double top in the immediate short term, then I will agree the distribution phase is on. Be careful with your altcoins. Be careful with Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. So today, although we are green in the short term, based on what has been happening the last few days, we got to anticipate that we could be making our first lower high market wide. So that's something that I'm going to be focusing on in the next couple of days. I'll keep you posted on what I think along the way. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. It's just a game of probability, and I plan on staying on the side where we get an edge on this market. Beam looking pretty good, up 40% today. That's a beast, looking very, very healthy. Bitget still grinding to the upside. That's a good indication that the market is still interested in trading those alts, although KuCoin is not doing the greatest. That whipsaw price action that you can see right here, Bitget is definitely looking very hot, you know, and catching up to KuCoin's market cap is also a very strong thing for the exchange, the centralized exchange. We have Sui going sideways, and we have a few others still kind of going sideways here. Nothing really that concerning in this market. Ultimately, what we want to see is altcoins run much harder than Bitcoin, basically react to this bounce a lot harder than Bitcoin, and that would give us an altcoin season. And I know many of us are currently heavily scaled into alts. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. This is Neoxa, NEOX. Neoxa is doing very well. A nice dip, a nice retracement. But of course, you guys know we look at Bitcoin first. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin going sideways. A nice bounce to the upside, of course, after that retracement yesterday. Now, if we include all the price action from yesterday and today, we basically are back to exactly where we started with Bitcoin. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So you can see that the range is still respected. You know, we came down to the bottom of the range. You know, we hit the trend line very nicely within a sideways consolidation. We broke above, we got that rejection, and then we came back down. Nice wick to the upside. Everything got bought up really hard. And you can see between yesterday and today's candle, we basically are right back to where we started. You know what? There's nothing really happening here. We see that we're back to range highs, previous highs, and we're holding, right? So that's a good thing. We're still holding steady. This could be that big distribution phase that I'm talking about, where Bitcoin sells off slow and steadily, and then we ultimately see a bigger rollover here on Bitcoin coming down to about 30K, maybe even as low as about 25K. But ultimately, guys, Bitcoin is still doing good and giving us a good indication that altcoins have room to run. That's all I got really here for Bitcoin. Yesterday, I did cover Bitcoin thoroughly. If you missed out on that video, go check it out. Ultimately, I'm looking at those alts, and of course, today's video is all about NEOX, Neoxa. Obviously, this thing has been retracing nicely to a good level of support. And at the end of the day, what could we expect? A nice bounce, a nice recovery, a nice V recovery. But really, what I do see here is on the daily, we see NEOX basically in the chop zone. You know, it's in the chop zone going sideways on the daily, which means that we could go sideways for a little bit longer, giving us an opportunity to build within an accumulation phase. This could be an accumulation phase, guys. We're right above the previous accumulation phase, and you can see as we hesitate in this zone, we do see a lot of volume being built. A lot of market participation is really interested in the zone, holding above the cluster of supply and demand here, the point of control and all of that. And this used to be a weak spot. Believe it or not, this was an empty zone, a really empty zone of volume without market buy orders or sell orders, and no real liquidity there. So at the end of the day, what I'm expecting is eventually a bounce to the upside. The probability is that we do. Now, I want to show you a couple of things here. The MACD is looking good, but let's look at the RSI. The RSI hasn't gotten oversold. So the risk of going long right now is that the RSI actually gets rejected right here and goes oversold. If it goes oversold, I'm expecting NEOX to come down a little bit more. Now, where would that go? Maybe solidifying the bottom at about 0.0029. That might come down a little bit more, hang around this zone, maybe get as low as the point of control for a bit of a liquidity grab. And at worst case scenario, it comes all the way down here, which I really doubt that will happen. Obviously, it's a game of probability, and I can't really, be totally confident in any of this. But what I do say is the probability of getting a bounce is around the corner, either within this range, or if we do come down a little bit more, we have to be prepared to DCA at lower levels. The only thing that I can say is that we do have a huge cluster of supply and demand based on that previous accumulation phase to hold up as support, and that improves the likelihood that we do get that bounce and eventually come right back to previous highs, or at least a nice bounce where we start looking at previous price action for a potential area of resistance. So at this current moment, the daily's looking good. Look at the MACD. The MACD is looking for that EMA cross right now. We could potentially get one green histogram bar, and you guys know that I like seeing at least one before I get bullish, really bullish. And in this case, it's looking good. If we break above the 0.004 level, that's basically a breakout. Okay, we're looking for a nice breakout out of this consolidation. Let's look into the lower time frames, because I believe the 4 hours a lot better. It did definitely get oversold once. right here, and then it came back down for a back test, and because of that we're seeing a bit of divergence. That would be a class C bullish divergence, lower lows on the price action, double bottom on the RSI, and then we got a bit of follow through right now, which is decent. And ultimately we could break, like I said, break above the 0.004. We have multiple highs, 1 and 2. We have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour to act as resistance, and guess what, this was the golden pocket, and this was the 786 retracement level from the big Fibonacci from swing high to all the way to where we are right now, swing low. 786 retracements, we are very, very good levels for potential support. Previous highs right here, 786, bottom of the volume gap, but lots of good confluence to suggest that this could be the pivot point that we're looking for to see Neoxa bounce again up to previous highs, maybe, or even into price discovery. Guys, this is looking pretty good. We can see that the RSI definitely is moving to the upside, looking to get overbought very soon. Once it gets to that overbought condition, then we have to start trailing up the stop losses and getting defensive on our move. We can see that the MACD EMA crossed to the upside, green histogram bars, and it looks like it wants to get into the bullish control zone, right into this part of the chart right here, into the upper hemisphere, and that would give us that opportunity to see the momentum in a bullish state. So that's really good. So ultimately a nice little bounce to the upside based on the 4-hour, that's very, very likely. And then if we start looking at the weekly in the reality, there's nothing here. Okay, this project has no data on the weekly, whereas a lot of projects are already printing good momentum to the weekly in overbought conditions. This thing doesn't have anything. We're quite early. If we start going down, you can see the 4 days a bit it's registering a little bit on the RSI, and the daily is the only place that we really have any data right now to suggest that this thing could continue to the upside. So it's looking pretty good. I would be DCAing right within this range, and I would reserve a bit of capital to deploy a little bit more just in case we come down to range lows. Again, 0.003 is range low, and then a little bit more down in this level, because you can see that we do have a bit of a volume gap that could get a bit of support, and it's quite confluent with the 886, which it's not bad of a scenario to anticipate. So I'll reuse this line and put it right here, and I'll put my green arrows a little bit cleaner and tidier and put that right here, and you can see that, you know, ultimately we have to be prepared for any worst case scenarios, especially with the fact that the RSI is not oversold. It could get oversold, and if it gets oversold, why not come down to this level? Guys, it would be a deep retracement. However, we don't want to be left blindsided. We want to be prepared. We want to have some capital, dry powder on the side, ready to go to deploy at those lower levels. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button. Of course, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover, that is the greatest time and place to make those requests. I'll put them in top priority. And of course, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is a great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setup, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.